So Peter Parker's going through it, eh?
We all
was
are.
Canadian. Jeez. And we all are. And watching that trailer, everyone, I've seen so many memes. They're like, he's sad, broke. We're finally seeing a sad broke. And in his
Peter
20s.
Parker.
And it's very realistic.
Very relatable.
Isn't it?
Extremely.
Yes.
We were talking recently about just like the difference between like rom-com versus reality or like movie versus reality, and how it's just not always as romantic as it seems, but that's okay.
So Ava joked about this last summer. And
I joked about this because it wasn't last summer. It was, I'm not going to get into like the dark past, but
dark past.
It was a rough summer.
It was a rough summer. Maddie was struggling with her health, so like I had to find ways to cope. Reading was a big one. So I just like escaped into these novels. And then I realized like books are so great because it's like other people, like a lot of the characters in these stories are like really
there was like
struggling.
going through something.
There was like going through something, but I was like, they always had like a cute boy that was like a shoulder to cry on and like got them through these times. Mind you, I was reading rom-coms, so like of course it's like they have some kind of like traumatic thing and then they have like a cute guy to help them through it.
Them.
And then I was like, that just doesn't happen in real life. Like I remember just being there and like all I had was like my
she
family
had a
and
lot
the book.
of tears this past summer.
No, but I'm talking about a summer when I was a teenager.
Yes, but I'm saying this past summer.
But you go through it in your 20s too.
Yeah.
Like I remember like
no shoulder to
in the
cry.
job,
No shoulder to cry on.
The only shoulder I'm crying on is my dog's.
I was gonna say though, is those moments when you go through them on your own, they make you much more resilient. They make you much more like independent. Well, I remember thinking back on that because I remember like at the time I was like,
it's a good little.
I was like 16, 17, so I was like, oh, like why am I going through this like all alone, blah blah blah. Like I had you guys, thankfully, and I had books, but I was like essentially alone in it. And I was like, you know what though, like looking back like as a girl in my 20s now, it really like built a lot of my character.
Yeah.
And it made me like very resilient, made me like figure out how to like handle things on my own and not be like dependent on someone else. And I think that's a gift.
True.
Yeah, but it's a gift that I would not replace that or change.
No,
because
now you're independent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like I remember last summer trying to get a job, how hard it was. And I've noticed that when I'm struggling the most, that's when my brain defaults to like, where's the cute boy with the shoulder to cry on? Like when is like, I think when you're struggling in your 20s, I think it's really easy to romanticize. We talked about this in our previous episode about the grass is greener. I think it's easy to think, oh, if I only had this thing in my life, this thing that I'm struggling with will be that much easier. And I don't think that's necessarily true. No. But I think we come up with these coping mechanisms or ideas of coping mechanisms that we think will make things easier, when in reality, I think, like you said, Abe's, like it helps you build resilience. And I think also you realize who you can lean on, which is like friends and family. And 100%. I don't think that's emphasized enough, I think, in the culture that we see. I think that's why our brain defaults to it, possibly, is just that
I think it's a lot of it has to do with the media you consume.
Yeah,
because
it's always,
I often find like, you know, we're screenwriters, and so every story needs conflict for it to be interesting.
And
so,
a love interest to be interesting.
No, and literally like even one of
it.
the pieces, like really big pieces of feedback we got on one of our recent scripts, where they're like, there's not enough love interest in this.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, like you're right. Like we kept being like, oh, we're gonna build to it. But she's like, no, you need people in it.
Yeah, from
the start, because that's what hooks people in.
And if
I do think media is a huge part of that.
Well, if I'm being honest with myself, this is not a criticism of media by any means.
No, we love it. Like,
it's amazing to consume.
I love it in entertainment.
I read books and watch movies. If there is not a love story in it, I have a harder time.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Can I give them an example?
So what I'm trying to say is like, it's not reflective of real life, so don't expect it
but
to
I'm
be,
going to
but
say
it's about entertainment.
And I was just going to say, it's like keyword entertainment. Yeah. Like we manipulate, like we write scripts and everything, and you're manipulating reality to make it more interesting.
Yeah, and
like
it's
at the end of the day, people
classic.
were saying, we were also reading about dialogue and how you want it to be realistic, but at the end of the day, most people aren't interesting to talk to in a way. Like they're just saying if you listened day by day to people's conversations and you just slap that on a page, it's not going to be interesting.
Yeah.
So you're manipulating reality to
you're
make
curating
it You're curating it in a way to make it entertaining. And it's like similar with social media, any entertainment, like it's made to grab you, to entertain you. It's not made to be realistic.
Not made
and
to
it's
realistic.
important to actually think about that when you're comparing your life to these things. And I kind of had to realize that when I was like 17 going through a tough time.
It's also
it was
classic.
like,
Or did you want to finish your
No,
thought?
I was just going to say that like at 17 going through a tough time, I really had to like check myself and be like, yeah, no, your life isn't like this because this is a book, you know? And those books are like fun to think about and read and all that kind of stuff, but it actually wouldn't. And again, like I said, I grew a lot from that experience. So I think the real life version is actually better. Makes you a better person in the long run.
I was going to say that's the classic like High School Musical. Made all of us, I don't know if it's just in Canada, but as a Canadian, high school was not High School Musical. You know, like it did not.
Did you think it'd be like High School Musical? Because I didn't.
I did. That's what everyone thought.
Yeah.
Growing up.
Like I didn't think people were going to be like singing and dancing on tables.
Think be singing and dancing, but it's like, you know, that was
going to be fun.
And
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, and also, I mean, my high school ended up becoming more sports related, so I feel like that just didn't really reflect High School Musical energy. But
no, well,
Troy Bolton, Troy Bolton.
You chose sports over music.
Get your head in the game.
I chose sports. I'm not musically
inclined.
But I was gonna say that. What I was gonna say, like about 5 minutes ago, was you.
Sorry, I rambled on.
No, it's fine.
No,
but Maddie, when she was saying that she's only interested in movies if there's like a love interest, we watched Peaky Blinders. Okay. This was years ago.
Yeah.
And the first episode we watched, Maddie was like, "This is awful." She's like, "This is so bad. This is so boring. It's slow. La, la, la." All of a sudden, if you watch the show, you'll know Grace and Tommy become a thing. Okay? Grace and Tommy are a couple. They become a couple. Love story. All of a sudden, Maddie's sitting on the couch with us. She is like, "When are we watching the next episode?" She was obsessed with them. Obsessed. But all that to say, it was the same show. The story didn't change.
Yeah.
Just they added Grace in for Tommy.
Well, like bringing it back to Spider-Man, like Spider-Man without MJ, like come on, that storyline is huge.
No, but Spider-Man's different.
Iconic.
He's like a superhero.
No, I know, but like I'm saying, if those films didn't have MJ in it, it'd be way less interesting.
Yeah. I guess that's true. He's yearning. He's in his yearning
It's
era.
also like humanizes these characters because it's like that's something we can all
you yearn,
relate to.
you earn.
Yeah, it is. He is a man who yearns in this one.
I know.
I was gonna say too is that another thing I love about Spider-Man, which is actually funny, is it really.
Can we just say that Spider-Man is our favorite? Like, franchise.
like we geek out on it because it's
our
just
favorite
like,
movies of all time.
I say this too, especially Elle and I's generation.
Favorite movies.
We
like,
grew
I cannot
up with
wait till July 31st. I can't wait.
But I think again, our
can't
generation grew up with it. Like I remember we were going into 9th grade when Peter Parker was doing like Homecoming. You know? Yes. And it was like, that was the year it came out. And then all throughout high school, it was just like Spider-Man movies, Marvel movies. It was like the whole school would go and see them and everyone would be talking about it. And it was just like, we would go with our friends and we'd all just like sob in the movie theater together.
Yeah.
When, like,
that was the
we
last.
Died. It was just like so good.
I saw this thing on social media saying how Avengers Infinity War was like the last like cultural like movie experience that like we all cared about. Like I know
what about Barbenheimer?
I know there's Barbenheimer, but Avengers Infinity War, what the post was saying,
for those who don't know,
more age groups.
For those who don't know, Barbenheimer is that summer that Barbie and
Oppenheimer
came out.
If you're
and apparently
online,
everyone went to see it. We didn't see it in theaters, but everyone went.
It was one of those things
like
that I felt like I'd seen enough online that I didn't need to go and see it in person.
But Avengers Infinity War, like you guys were saying, the story of like, you know, you were on the bus to the movie theater studying for a test, like putting in that effort that just doesn't happen.
And one of our friends, like, I think forgot what happened in the other one, so she was watching like the previous movie on the way to the movie theater.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, yes. We would take the bus. I remember I was like studying.
We would bus. It was like far, and then we'd be like busing home really late.
We had like a test the next day, and I would study on the bus because I was like, I'm not missing this
because we
tonight.
didn't have our driver's license yet. It was like we were babies, and it was just
no driver's license.
No, it was
studying.
awesome. But I was gonna say too about Spider-Man that I love is that they really, at least in like Tom Holland's version of Spider-Man, I feel like they have a really big emphasis on friendship, like him and Ned.
Yeah.
And I just like love that because like we've talked about this a lot on this podcast, but like
friendship. Do you think
he's
gonna become a villain?
It reminds me
I hope not. After what I just said.
That's a segue. Sidebar.
No, but I was just gonna say that
quest.
Friendship has been so important because it's like, you know, again, romantic relationships are always emphasized in film, television, entertainment in general, and it's so fun to watch. Like I have no problem with it. But in real life, like I just think friendships have been such like a huge part of my life. And even when I was going through difficult times, like, and I was reading books for comfort,
books are great.
I feel like books are great. Really good escapist.
Yeah, I think
way
like
to escape. But I was just gonna
go
finish.
ahead.
Sorry, not that like I'm rambling this whole time, but
No, it's fine.
I'm like out of breath. I need a minute.
okay.
No, I got it.
She doesn't need a min.
I don't need a min. But like in that period of my life, like I had friends that I didn't necessarily talk to them about what was going on just for like the privacy of our family, but like hanging out with them would like make me feel better. And honestly, like shout out to Jenna because that's who I'm talking about.
Jenna, it's
always a
ties
shout
back
out to Jenna. But like also when I had a tough summer last summer, she was always there. We'd be like on our front porch talking till like 10 p.m. and it was like dark out in the summer and it was like she was just listening to me be like, and I just like
Peak
my life,
unemployment.
I can't like
Yeah.
I don't even.
Well, what I wanted to
friends are important. Sorry, just take care of your friendships.
Well, yeah, I
they're
think
important.
that's been one of the biggest discoveries of my 20s is the value of friendship because before my 20s, I was like very much did not have close friends at all.
She was a lone survivor.
Yeah, like I had Abe and Al, my family, and my cousins, and that was it. Like I did not have friend. Like I did not have like a friend group or close friends at all. And that wasn't like it wasn't like I was like I was surrounded by people. It's not like I was like not getting out of the house. It's just like I just didn't find people that I resonated with. So then in my 20s, it's been the biggest surprise, like you said, of like realizing the value of friendship and how powerful that is in the difficult moments of life. And it reminds me of Dolly Alderton's book, Everything I Know About Love. And like one of the biggest takeaways I took from that book, it really resonated. Like I think I read that in like my early 20s.
I read it a couple years ago.
Yeah. And I was just like, the biggest takeaway was just everything I know about love, I learned from my friends.
Yeah.
Period.
Like, me too.
Loyalty.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Gracie Abrams,
care,
what was that one?
kindness.
Yeah,
tough love.
I feel
Tough
like.
love. Yeah, like it's just I think and Olivia Dean, I've seen it. Like I think there's
Can I say
becoming
another
more of an awareness for our generation.
No, for
Yeah.
sure. No,
Yeah.
it's so I think our generation is huge on that. Like
Yeah.
even I have friends who like have
We're clocking
boyfriends and they're like, I will not put him above my friends. And I'm like, yes.
Yeah, I think it's
I mean,
okay
like-
to prioritize your boyfriend, but you can also prioritize your friends.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be one.
No,
You don't
yeah,
have to
it's-
pick
it's-
one over the
yeah,
other. Like
yeah.
you should be able to have.
It might be
lots
hard
of-
to balance with a full-time job.
It will,
Yeah,
but
it's
if you give them all the love they need, then
yeah.
it'll be good.
Yeah.
But
No,
also,
I was
sorry.
No, I was gonna say that I feel like I was just thinking about this is how oftentimes in movies I feel like actors are always so much older than the age they play. So then it's also like even in the 20s, it's like I feel like a lot of it's not
Misrepresented?
interpreted. Yeah, misrepresented.
Because there's
it's
people who
like-
aren't in their 20s
Yeah, like
writing
it's like
about
they're
the
all
20s.
like 30, but they're playing 20, which
Subtle
is fine.
plug
They
for
look
us.
they
'cause
look
we're writing about the 20s.
Yeah, no, but we like
Yeah, but we could be
Authenticity.
older. The thing is,
could
it
be
takes.
older.
We also empathize because it takes
It
so
does
much
take
time
time.
to make something.
Yeah.
And like we're writing for 20s right now, but by the time we make it, we don't know how old we're gonna be. Like we
Yeah,
don't
who
know how
knows?
long it's gonna take, and like
Who knows?
We want to act in it, but it's like it takes so long to get something made because it takes a village.
Yeah,
But I think it
It's
is
just-
like writing about the 20s is a very special time. Like I feel like teens are featured a lot. 20s,
Yeah.
they're featured. But I
Yeah.
don't, like
Yeah, I
Friends
feel
obviously
like-
is an iconic
No,
example.
yeah, I feel like
but
teens are featured way more than 20s.
even like I
Yeah.
read young adult books, and like sometimes, as I'm getting into my 20s, like the teenage stories, I just can't really like
yeah.
relate to as much
Actually,
anymore
that's
because
what I
it's just
love
like
is-
it's like I can't like I'm like, oh, like that just wouldn't happen at this age.
That's
you
what
know,
I
like I'm
love.
just
Yeah.
like that just people don't like aren't.
true.
So I'm reading actually a book right now that's like a girl in her 20s. It's
Love
actually
it.
kind of
That's what
nice.
I loved
'cause
about
it's-
Simone Ashley's Bridgerton was that her character was like 25 or 27.
Yeah.
I love that. Anyway,
Queen. Yeah.
I was gonna say one more thing too.
I have to go.
Oh, okay. One more thing is just that friendship also is important because, and again, if you haven't found,
bravery.
I was just gonna say that if you haven't found your people yet, that's totally okay. Keep on trudging. Do things you love, and I just think
I
that they'll
believe-
naturally.
And
find
I believe
friendship
too-
will find you.
and
and I
put
believe
effort
too-
into other people. Care
as
about
we
other
always
people.
say, the girly pop's gonna get you.
Girly
Yes.
pop's gonna get you. But I was gonna say that also don't settle for bad friends the same way that people talk
Yes.
about boys. I'm the same way with
Yeah,
friends.
don't
Don't settle for bad
friends.
friends. I think no friends is better than bad friends.
Agreed.
It's the same.
You cannot
same
trust people
bad
that can't be
friends.
trusted.
Yeah.
You
Do
want
not waste
people
your
who
time.
want the best for you. People who are just
They're like a
kind
weight, and they will
caring.
drag you down.
Also, if you're like,
Yes.
oh, when's it gonna happen? Like the more time it takes, usually the more quality you're gonna find.
Totally.
I agree.
And last thing I was just going to say is that we see that also our grandma is in that era. She is our
widow?
grandfather sadly passed away a few years ago. And she's really just cultivated a group of women around her that are her age. They relate to each other. They can talk
She's
about
87.
Yeah,
and she's found new
some of them
friends.
have husbands that are ill, and they can like help each other, and like it's just
The
they're
girly
in a,
pop's gonna
they're
get
they're
ya.
in a stage of
So
life
true.
together. That's something that sometimes family can't be. Is like, you know,
Your age and stage
yeah,
of
your
life.
age and stage of life, and it's important to find those people and, you know, support
and be
each other.
patient finding.
And you
those
can
people.
find it
And be
at any
patient.
age.
You
and stage.
can. She found
Yeah.
these people in her 80s, and they're lovely ladies, and my grandma's a lovely lady, and they're killing it.
They're perfect.
Power
now.
of friendship.
Yeah.
Power of friendship.
Anyway, guys, hope everyone's having a good day.
Bye.
We gotta get back to work.